Hello everybody, I'm Tenlin, and let's talk about how I'm scrambling to gather crystals and clusters before Dawntrail is released. I've made the mistake in previous patches of not having enough, and I'm not going broke to buy them again this time. So, if you're like me and want to be stocked up, or you want to take advantage of people that aren't going to be prepped for the new expansion and sell those to others, you can start to gather them now. It's a very chill process and can make a decent amount of money for very low effort. Also, something to keep in mind is that you can use this at any time during any patch or any expansion, and you'll always be able to make a little bit of money off these. Crystals and clusters are always in demand. We're going to be gathering using the Aetherial reduction method, and the beautiful thing about that is the requirements are pretty low. I've got an alarm category that I put together on Teamcraft for Heaven's Ward and Stormblood time nodes that you can use. I'll put that in the description. But there are a ton more nodes available. Don't feel limited to these ones only. Do a little bit of digging on which clusters you'd like to aim for, and add a few more onto this list if you'd like. My list includes one of each type on the rotation, so I can stock them all up for myself. But if you're looking for one in particular, like just a bunch of fire clusters, there are plenty of nodes available. So if you wanted to just gather one certain type, if you're looking to sell them and that one is the most expensive on your server, go ahead and check out all of the different rotations. And as long as you have all of the existing zones open, you can have a lot of nodes. Every expansion adds a couple more for each different type that you'll be able to gather from. Let's back up though. What is Aetherial reduction? It's simple. We're going to be gathering collectibles and using the Aetherial reduction action to break them down into things that we want. In particular, you'll be breaking these items down into clusters, crystals, and Aether Sands. For now, we're just going to be focusing on the first two. We'll talk about Aether Sands more when Dawntrail releases, as in the current state, there are not any that are very valuable and we don't really care about them. You can get anywhere from 1 to 70 crystals and 1 to 50 clusters on each of the Aetherial reduction collectibles that you gather. Ideally, you're aiming to get 1,000 collectability on everything that you gather up, so on average you'll get 30 crystals and 25 clusters. Occasionally, when reducing them, you'll hit some critical successes that will double the reward, and it's purely random, so don't rely on that too much, just be happy when it happens. Now these nodes are different from a standard time node because they'll repetitively spawn for the entire time duration that they're up. There will always be 3 of them available, and you'll rotate around to each of them in that area until the time expires. If you take a look in the background, you'll get a little bit better idea of what I mean here, but you'll always have them on the map, and it'll be shown as an ephemeral node. So obviously, just go up to the node, click on it, and click on the item that you're looking to gather. Now, these are collectibles, so there are different skills than normal gathering, so let's talk about the rotation and the different scenarios that you can come by. First, you're always going to hit Scrutiny to start. Pretty much every single node will start with a Scrutiny, and then you'll hit a Scour. Now, depending on what you get, you could get 450 gained on the collectability, or you could get a proc that puts you up to 550 on the collectability. Either way, one of the procs you're going to need to hit 550 collectability for the ideal rotation. There's nothing you can do, this is just RNG, so just depending on what happens, you're going to change your rotation. So let's stick with this first one. You're going to Scrutiny, Scour, you hit a 450, nothing else procs, you Scrutiny, Scour, the next one hits 550, you'll go ahead and gather twice, and you're good to go. Now let's say you Scrutiny, Scour, and you Scrutiny, Scour again, and it only puts you up to 900 collectability. A little unfortunate, but it will happen. You'll want to hit Meticulous and see if you can get the proc for saving your integrity, but otherwise, you'll only get one gather. Still okay. Finally, if you Scrutiny, Scour, and then you get the Intuition proc, you'll want to Scrutiny and then Meticulous, especially if you got the 550 on your first Scrutiny and Scour. This will get you all the way to 1,000 most of the time, and there's an occasional time that you will save your integrity because you have a higher chance of doing so. This is the best possible thing that can happen, but again, don't worry about it too much. All you're aiming to do is get 1,000 collectability with minimal use of your integrity. Now, of course, you can use Solid Reason on Miner or Ageless Words on Botanist and hope you get an extra proc for 2 integrity, but in general, it's a wash on whether or not it's good. Sometimes you'll end up saving 100 GP, sometimes you'll lose 100 GP when you do it. It's just a personal preference thing. If you'd rather just go ahead and reduce the amount of nodes you have to go to, using these skills is a good thing. But that's all though. Keep following around the nodes for the duration they're up, and make sure to always have at least 400 GP before you gather if you'd like to get the max collectability, which is ideal. Once you've collected some, you'll want to open up your Aetherial reduction menu, which you can find under your character, and then actions and traits in general. And with this, along with scrutiny, scour, meticulous, and collect on your collectabilities gathering menu, everything can be dragged to your hotbar to make it easier to click or to set up hotkeys for them so you don't have to worry about clicking as much. Once you click one of your collectibles to Aetherial reduce, you'll actually get a menu that'll pop up, then you can click automatic and it will continue to go ahead and reduce the rest of them without you having to do anything. Now you will notice that you're going to get a bunch of Aether Sands when you're doing these. Aether Sands are a very important material for every expansion, but unfortunately once that expansion is over, the previous ones are not as used or not used at all anymore. Endwalker ones still sell for about 700 a piece on my server, but we'll talk about what to do with those when Dawntrail comes out, as they will be insanely profitable when we know where the new ones are and what we need to do to get them. These will be a higher tier item, but we'll cover that in another video. Thank you all for watching, and please subscribe. If you have any questions about Final Fantasy XIV that you want answered, let me know in the comments, and I hope you have a great day. I really need to stop procrastinating till the last second for this stuff.